Hello everyone, my name is Ivan, you're watching Donjon Shop channel, and today I would like to tell you about how to choose 1.5 or two-handed bladed weapon for full contact fights according to the WMFC rules. Fighters rarely use this type of weapon in full contact fights, but nevertheless, according to the rules, it can be used, and you need to know the admission criteria. To 1.5 and two-handed bladed weapons, the general requirements of Historical Medieval Battles International Association applies. At the same time, the weight of 1.5 swords should be in the range from 1,700 to 2,300 grams, and the weight of two-handed swords should be from 2,300 grams to 3 kilograms. It should be clarified now that in capacity of 1.5 swords are considered swords with a total length of 100 to 140 centimeters, a blade length of 80 to 100 centimeters, and a handle length of 20 to 40 centimeters. And in capacity of two-handed swords are considered swords from 140 to 160 centimeters, a blade length of 110 to 130 centimeters, and a handle length of 30 to 50 centimeters. The cutting edge must be rounded and at least 2 millimeters thick. The tip of the sword must have a radius of rounding of at least 1 centimeter. The blade should not be a saw. Sharp chips and notches should be removed. There are also special requirements for the crosspiece of the sword. It should not protrude more than 3.5 centimeters from your glove. Unfortunately, this means that all these beautiful swords of the Zweihänder type with a huge guard won't be allowed. In addition to the general requirements of HMB, there are also special requirements for weapons in WMFC rules. Each weapon must have a certain impact weight distribution coefficient. It must be calculated as follows. You need to measure the distance from the end of the handle to the balance point, and you need to measure it in centimeters. Next, you must add 5 to the resulting number. This sum must be multiplied by the weight. The weight should be measured in kilograms. This way you will know the coefficient of your weapon. For men, the minimum allowed value is 30 units, and for women it's 25 units. If you're a real man and you fight in male categories and the coefficient of your weapon is 45 or higher, then your weapon gets the status of heavy, and each of your hits will bring you 2 points. But it's necessary to make sure that side marshals know that you are going to fight with a heavy weapon. In female categories, the limit of heavy weapon begins with a coefficient of 40 units. As you remember from our video about the admission of one-handed swords, if someone haven't seen it yet, the link will now appear in the corner of the screen. All one-handed weapons, according to the rules of WMFC, must have a lanyard. It's such a lever loop that's attached to the hilt of the sword and doesn't allow it to fly into the audience in the case that you suddenly decide to open your hand. Well, in the case of two-handed and 1.5 swords, it's not necessary to make a lanyard, but it works on one condition. You must hold the sword with both hands when striking. Nevertheless, if you have the bazooka hands and you plan to strike the opponent with your two-handed sword, holding it with only one hand, then you still have to make a lanyard. Otherwise, you will receive a warning. Well, and an important point that is worth mentioning is that your weapon must match the rest of your recruitment set. This means that if you are an European knight, then you should not come to the tournament with two-handed katana. By the way, for a competent selection of weapon you can contact our shop. We will help prompt select and deliver. The link to our website will be in the description. And that's all for today, dear friends. Subscribe, like, comment, and may your weapons always be allowed.